Hey everybody, it's Mike here. Thanks for checking out my channel. Today I'm really excited to talk about Starfield. Now this game is going to be one of the hugest games I'm going to be reviewing in 2023, and Starfield has had very mixed reception. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people can just find stuff to complain about it. I'm going to give you the real sauce here and really tell you, is this game really worth buying, or you want to skip it or wait for a sale? Now, I'm no stranger to Bethesda games. I've played, Morrowind, Skyrim, Fallout, so I know a thing or two what I'm looking for in a good Bethesda game. And I know a lot of people are comparing this to No Man's Sky, believe it or not. And I think there's just, people are focusing so much on how you get in and out of planets. I think No Man's Sky kind of spoiled us in that sense. And I think people are way too fixated on that, how you enter and exit planets. Of course, it would be great to fly to a planet without having to go through your menus. However, at the same time, I know when this game was marketed, I know they made some mistakes and they kind of overpromised on the exploration side of things. So that's where I could see where people kind of got let down. But at the same time, if you really want to compare it to No Man's Sky, look at the storyline a game like Starfield delivers compared to No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky story is delivered through various text-based conversations, and it's really not as deep as you would find in like a Bethesda game. So I don't think comparing the two games is particularly fair. And they both deliver different value, right? No Man's Sky is looking for those procedurally generated planets and you're just exploring. In Starfield, it's more of a storyline that you're pursuing and the different side quests and getting to know the different characters. Anyways, I just wanted to add that in because a lot of people are comparing it, and I don't think you're going to get a clear picture if you compare two totally different concepts. Now let's get to the meat of things. So when it comes to Starfield, the game kind of starts off very weak. It's not what people are reporting. People are saying you need to spend 12 hours to get to the good stuff. That's not necessarily true. I'm having fun with it right from the get-go, but at the same time, I would say the beginning of Starfield is a bit weaker than, say, like a Skyrim. The way it throws you into the world is just kind of unrealistic. But I know it's a game, but it's unrealistic in a way where it's kind of ridiculous. You come across an artifact or whatever, and then someone decides to give you their ship. Like, who just hands off the spaceship? Anyways, then bam, after you get the spaceship, they invite you to join Constellation, elite group of explorers. It just didn't seem very natural how it was put together, and it was kind of forced. It was like, okay, what's the quickest way we can get the players to join this elite group and get their spaceship? And they kind of did it that way. I think it would have been more smarter if you kind of had to take a little bit of time to get your first ship and to get more appreciation of that. But after you get through that awkward beginning, the storyline gets a lot better. And you get to know the characters. I like a lot of the party members that you start off with. They're very interesting. They have a lot of dialogue, and just like you would find in maybe like a BioWare game, some of your companions will like or dislike some of your decisions, and that kind of determines your affinity with them. So I kind of like that system there. I have to say, one of the particular things that make this game awesome is the shipbuilding aspect. You can build whatever your heart desires. I love it. I really like the freedom it gives you in terms of shipbuilding. And if you're not a shipbuilder like myself, or you're not very creative, you can just buy some of the templates. They have different ships that you can just buy from a vendor, and you can also find ships and unlock them. So if you're not that great at designing your own ship, no worries, you can always find one. But I'm having a lot of fun designing my ships, and you can get really creative. Heck, this game just got released not too long ago, and I'm seeing all sorts of creations. Some people are building mini Star Destroyers from Millennium Falcons, and I love that. I love that sense of creativity, and it's really exciting to build your own ship. So that's a huge positive for this game. So this game has around 1,000 planets, and they're supposedly procedurally generated, but I'm finding a lot of the same out of these 1,000 planets. You'll find some quests here and there, and you'll have some quests that will take you to these planets. But really, in terms of exploration, I find the exploration side of things for this game are extremely underwhelming. compared to, like, that's where I would say No Man's Sky is definitely the better game. If you're looking for that exploration type game, just not really, it's not really satisfying that itch. You know, you go to a planet, it's quite barren. You'll have a couple of landmarks, a couple of resources, and that's about it. And then you have some invisible walls, so you can't really traverse the whole planet, you know. And like I said, back to us being spoiled from No Man's Sky, you can't have that freedom of just having the whole planet open for exploration. But yeah, I think that's a huge missed opportunity for this game, and I think that's where you find a lot of these people getting disappointed, because there was a lot of promises in terms of exploration, but when it comes down to it, other than a handful of outposts to kill some mercenaries or scanning some resources, you're really not going to get that satisfaction from exploration like you would like in a game called No Man's Sky. That being said, some of the environments in this game are some of the coolest you'll find in any AAA game nowadays. Like, you have this city, New Atlantis, and this city is freaking huge. The scope of it, and there's so much to explore. There's so many different side quests, and you're gonna spend more time going through the different cities and getting to know the characters. You also have this like cyberpunk city called Neon, which is really cool. You got your like Wild West city called Aquila. So you have a good variety of different cities, and I think in terms of, I guess, exploration, that's where you're gonna have the most enjoyment, is just enjoying these cities. And then your dialogue decisions kind of actually matter in this game, so I appreciated that. In terms of how you respond to dialogue, you got your typical, you know, mercenary trying to get money, or more of a heroic type vibe. And then you got, like, you can just be a pure asshole and just, you know, just screw people over. I really like the dialogue options. I had a lot of fun putting points in persuasion and doing that. And I think in the side quests, you have more angles of how you pursue it. You know, on the main storyline, there's only so much freedom in terms of decision making. It's all tied to these artifacts and the secret constellation group. However, I believe in the side quests is where you get kind of the best content, where you get to really act as your character, where you make those evil and good decisions. Now, in terms of graphics, I think they're pretty good. I wouldn't say the facial animations are on the level of Baldur's Gate 3. However, I think Bethesda has improved those facial animations from their previous games. And I think the graphics are pretty good. I think they're not amazing, and they're not going to blow you away. That's not what's really going to be the pull for this game, but I think the graphics are definitely functional. I think the one thing that really stands out is the excellent voice acting in this game. It really helps the characters come to life, and you're really going to enjoy learning about the different companions. Sadly, you can only really travel with one companion at a time, so I didn't get to spend... I know there's a lot of dialogue that I've missed, but you know, I'm really enjoying getting to know the different companions, and it definitely warrants a second playthrough. Now, I think a huge con for this game is just not having a map, right? The local map where, like, for example, you'll have a star map where you can fly to different planets, but once you get on the surface, there's no map to really guide you. You're kind of like relying on your scanner, and I think they really missed the mark in this area, because with huge worlds like in this game, and not having the map to provide you context, you're kind of running around aimlessly, and having that map would really give you a sense of direction. And so a lot of your exploration kind of involves following waypoints without that map. And for me personally, I don't like relying on waypoints. I like getting a feel for the land around me, and getting to know different landmarks. You're not going to be able to do that in this game. You're just going to really have to rely on those checkpoints and kind of memorizing the different cities and stuff like that. So that's definitely one of the huge cons. So yeah, for example, you're going to be wasting time looking for a vendor, and you're going to maybe rely on community made maps, when I feel like they should have already had this in the game. Another thing that just flat out sucks in this game is just the inventory management. Man, you're just going to be spending so much time, you know, getting rid of your junk, carrying junk, and it's just a lot of your time, sadly. This game is so fun, and you're spending so much time clearing out your inventory, and I wish you were able to carry more. I mean, there's so many different cool guns, and you really kind of have to you know, take advantage of your companions to hold a lot of your loot, or just to even hoard it and keep it on your spaceship. But I really think that was a missed opportunity. I really thought they would at least let you carry more in terms of different weapons. I like having, you know, a good arsenal at my disposal, and you can't really do that because of these weight restrictions, right? So now back to some of the positives. For those who enjoyed the settlement builder in Fallout 4, you're going to have fun with this. It's pretty much the same thing, and it's very useful. You can help generate resources, and I'm having a lot of fun building my settlements. So that's a huge positive. And unlike Fallout 4, you really got to think where you want to build these settlements, right? You don't want to build a settlement in a very hostile planet. You want to build it in a safe planet. And just like the ship builder, there's so much different parts to customize. They really spent some good time making sure that players have a lot of, you know, endless ways to customize their bases. Now back to the pros. I really enjoyed the space combat. Obviously it's nothing revolutionary. It's very similar to No Man's Sky actually. There's some technical aspects of it. You have to divert your engines and your shields and stuff like that. But it's quite simple, like you would expect from, you know, any other space combat. But at the same time, I just really enjoyed it. I don't know, maybe it's just me, or maybe it's the way that you can customize your ship so much, which makes it exciting. But I really had a lot of fun with the ship combat. So those of you who enjoy that, you're gonna have a lot of fun here. Now another concern of this game was actually the combat in terms of the gunfighting. So I'm here to let you know that the combat's actually a lot of fun. You don't have like the VAT system like you would in like Fallout 4 where you can slow down time, but the gunplay is still very good. How you can customize your guns, the different type of weapons you'll find. I see a lot of people having fun with it. I'm enjoying the shooting myself. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a lot of fun. So for those of you worried that this game has some really bad combat, like some people are saying, I wouldn't listen to them. The combat's a lot of fun. It just doesn't have like that system. But this isn't Fallout, right? So we have to look at Starfield for what it is. And I'm telling you, you're really gonna have fun, you know, invading pirate ships, docking in them, and clearing out each room. You know, that's how you find a lot of the rare loot, at least from my experience, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. And one more thing I want to say about this game, I know I'm getting a bit long here, but there's just so much to cover. In terms of the bugs, I know Bethesda made comments such as this being the least buggiest game they've released. I think they kind of shoot themselves in the foot by saying that, because this game does have quite a few bugs. But those of you old school Bethesda fans, like, there's some sort of charm, I don't know, there's some sort of, like, I kind of laugh, you know, when you shoot someone and they just go flying. That's me personally, I get to find humor from it. But I know for a lot of you it's game breaking, and I would definitely not say this is the least buggiest Bethesda game at launch. I think that is definitely not true. And now I'm going to give a verdict for this game. In terms of sheer value, you're going to have a great time. The main story takes around 18 to 20 hours to beat, and I know there's over 200 hours of side content. I think there's even more than that. There's probably, you can drop thousands of hours in this game, and you know, multiple playthroughs, getting to know the different companions. So I definitely think you know, everyone's gonna find a lot of value in this game. This game is a lot of fun. Definitely a contender for the game of the year. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I know it's very high with some of the cons I mentioned, but you have to play this game to really enjoy it. I saw some videos of people going nuts about the pronouns and stuff like that. I think that's I'm not going to comment on that, but I think people are just finding issues with this game, and if you just spend time with it, and you'll appreciate it for what it is. And no, you don't have to wait 12 hours to have fun. This is one of those games that's going to give you value over a long period of time. I can see myself playing this, you know, 5 years from now. So there's not many games I can say that, right? So we gotta look at it at that perspective. And this game is gonna keep improving, and they're gonna keep putting new mods, right? And it's one of those games that it's not gonna die. It's a Bethesda game, okay? So definitely worth the buy. It's a great product, and I highly recommend it. Now, other than that, if you haven't checked out my channel, please consider checking it out. I make sure that my viewers get the most value for their money by giving them the most honest feedback on the latest games. So if that's your thing, please subscribe to support the channel. Alright, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.